Hey there, Bronco fans, and welcome inside of the Chancellor Suite here at Nick Gerald Stadium. It's a new week in Bronco football, and we welcome you on to the Pigskin Press Talk, week number 6 here on the Bronco Sports Network. I'm your host, Andrew Chapman, and we have 3 Bronco players along with the head coach, Richard Hayes, joining us today. We have place kicker John Hernandez-Vargas in the building, FSU quarterback Joe Owens, and making his second appearance on the show this year, it's Shai Gaskin, the defensive end, as we talk all 3 phases of the Broncos win over Bowie State. FSU coming off a thriller, 27-24 last week at Nick Gerald Stadium, topping the Bulldogs and improving to 2-1 in conference play, 3-2 now. The overall record going into week 6. This week it's a matchup on the road in Salisbury, North Carolina against the Livingstone Blue Bears. Coach Hayes, I'll start with a quick recap of the win over Bowie State. This is a matchup that was dormant since the 2021 championship game. So many great matchups over that 3-year window between you and the Bulldogs. So a little bit of a layoff. Now a new coaching staff for Bowie State coming into this one. But I got the sense that your guys really wanted to get this win for not only you, but the entire coaching staff and kind of a rebirth of the rivalry. And you got that dub you were looking for.
Well, yeah, got a lot of text messages this week from older guys that played before this. Said we finally got those guys, and they were really excited for the guys in the program now. But it was a hard-fought game. Felt like we had an opportunity early to put the game away. It was 14-3, and then we had a series of unfortunate events where I think we gave up a blown coverage, a long touchdown, and then, of course, that fumble, that was called a fumble, a scoop and score for them, gave them the lead at halftime. But, you know, we talked about settling down in the third quarter, coming out, making sure we got a good drive. It took us to the fourth quarter to take the lead, but once we took the lead, you know, we blew another coverage, and that's something we've really been focusing on for them to tie it back up. But we do what we always do in the end. Under 2 minutes, we go down the field. Great kickoff return by Bryce Council. Joe and those guys orchestrated the offense, got us in field goal range, and John does what John does because that's what we got him here to do.
Yeah, perfect. The perfect sequence. Council getting the Broncos all the way to about midfield. Joe getting them into range with the offensive drive, and then John, you kicked the chip shot field goal to win it 27-24, and obviously you're the guy that ends up at the top of the pile, getting lifted up at the end of the game. But can you walk us through just that final drive, your preparation on the sideline, and then focusing in the moment to kick the game winner?
Yeah, before the game, Malachi was like, you know, this might have to come down to us, and I was like, shoot, if it does, we're gonna get it right. So, and then it was getting close to the end. He was like, I told you. So we started warming up, and then you know, Coach Hayes does a great job of you know, working us out there. So like it's just, I was already prepared for the moment. So you know, just go out there, kick, do what I do, don't overthink, and you know, it all starts with Malachi, and then the guys blocking, and then DK holding, and then we just get the kick up.
Yeah, and it was perfect, right around 30 yards or so kind of a chip shot kick, but perfectly through the uprights. And Coach, I wanted to ask you, you know, television game, HBCU Go came in to do the broadcast, and that obviously creates a little bit more length to the game, some more time for you to come together and communicate with with your team during key phases of the game. Is there any benefit to be found in that? There's no doubt that the game can drag a little bit, but that extra communication, does it help you guys in any way?
It does. You know, I thought we had a small advantage in that it was a little warm on Saturday, and with Bowie State not accustomed to playing in this Fayetteville heat. But, you know, with so many TV timeouts throughout the duration of the game, it kind of kept them in there. But, you know, it's some benefits to it. We were able to communicate a lot better on sideline during timeouts and things like that, yes.
Joe, it was a busy day for you through the air, 26 for 41, 342 passing yards, and you connected for a touchdown as well through the air to Cameron King, who ends up taking home CIAA wide receiver of the week with his 135 yards. But it was a day where you were spreading the wealth all around the field, had you with 4 different receivers for the Broncos with 4 or more receptions. What were you seeing just under center and your guys' ability to get open throughout the entire game?
I mean, we came in the game with a great game plan. So, I mean, come in the game, just executed the game plan. You know, we got everything we wanted, and we got a lot of different playmakers. So we're going to get the ball in the playmakers' hands and let them do what they do.
And Shai, on the defensive end, a key interception for you early in that fourth quarter that helped shorten up the field for Joe in the offense, and then ultimately a field goal coming out of it that tied the game at 17-17. run me through that sequence, what you saw, and how you ended up with the football in your hands over that play.
To be honest, it still doesn't feel real to the whole play, but to be honest, I can kind of say I premeditated it. It was like I already knew where the ball was going. I already knew what they was trying to do to us in that situation, so I already got down, lined up, and just played football at the end of the day, and ended up. My coach always says, you do what you're supposed to do, end up in the right spot, good things gonna happen. So that was one of those moments.
Yeah, and Joe and the offense, they were able to sustain quite a few drives over the course of that game, which gave the defense a little bit of a breather and a break. Can you kind of break down the advantages of when that offense is able to go on that 10 or 15 play type of drive, give you guys that unit a chance to kind of get ready to get back out there and help how that helps you?
It helps out everybody a lot. It's just getting us prepared for the next drive, letting us know what we did wrong and what we need to do to finish and seal the game, and just overall just giving us the energy to go back out there and be 100% and dominate, really.
Yeah. And a big day for the tight ends as well. I mentioned Cam King, but Khalil Ashley Diarra, he got involved as well, Joe, and maybe the biggest game of the season so far when it comes to tight end usage. Was that kind of a game plan going in? You expected to use some of those big guys a little more?
I mean, yeah, that's one of our game plans, but tight ends are a big part of our game every week. It might not show up on, maybe on the stat sheet, but we always have a lot of usage for our tight ends. But yeah, they stepped up this week and they made some plays, and it was good to see. So might be used a lot more in the future.
Yeah, Caden Davis had 4 catches as well. What's it been like to throw passes to Caden this year and run routes with him?
Since Caden was in the quarterback room with me when I first got here, he's still in the room with me, but we use him as a different little weapon now. So just to have a guy that I think is smarter than your average receiver. He thinks like a quarterback, so I feel like he's always in the right spot at the right time, and he's kind of thinking how I'm thinking. So he's a great guy to throw to. That's my guy.
Yeah, just short of 50 yards through the air for Caden, his season high. Did end up off the field towards the fourth quarter with an injury, but hopefully he'll be getting back out there soon. John, had to just learn about the background to your kicking career and kind of when it started, place kicking. Sometimes there's a soccer background. When did you realize, though, that you had the leg strength to pursue college football?
So I was a soccer guy throughout the whole high school. It was actually my high school coach that came out. I was a junior, and I came out. He was like, "Come out and kick," and I came out, and I really started kicking until after my senior season, and I went and got some training with Dan, and then I went back. It was just January, and the athletic director came up to me and was like, Fayetteville State wants you to go kick for them, see how you kick and all that. Came out and kicked, and then Coach Hayes was like, we want you here, so came, and then saw how it was all last year, so it kind of prepared me for this season coming in and giving me the confidence I needed.
Yeah, there's been quite a few Bronco wins over the years, Coach Hayes, that have come thanks to the kicker, notably the CIAA championship. A couple of years ago, Elton Andrew kicking the game winner up in Salem. But it seems like just over the last few years of this program, you've consistently been able to bring in guys who don't feel the pressure and are able to come up with a big kick in the big moment.
Well, they feel the pressure every day in practice.
Yeah.
They feel it from me, he'll tell you. That's the first thing we do after flex. Is we go straight to PAT field goal. They got 5 minutes of me hollering at them, fussing at them, and putting all kind of pressure on them. So, like he said, they're prepared for the moment. The special teams groups and Coach Jones do a great job of getting those guys prepared, and each phase of our special teams has helped us win some kind of game in the last 3 years. Yeah.
Joe, Coach talked about it a little bit in our post-game interview briefly, but going into the week, it felt like a must-win. The dynamic has really changed in the conference this year with everybody being stacked on top of each other in the CIAA. Week 4, Week 5, it just feels like they mean a little bit more when you're competing with everybody to try and get into that championship game. Can you talk about just how the urgency to win has maybe changed a little bit this year compared to last year and how you view that?
Yeah. So, Coach always talks about you get, championships are won in October, So, it's a hard week of practice, hard week of ball. So, right now, I think everybody kind of, with our one loss in the conference, everybody focused in and, doubled down. And I think we've seen, the true dynamic of our team last week. Yeah, it was a must-win game, but the guys handled it the right way. You know, might have felt a little pressure, but we stayed focused, and hey, we're just gonna keep it rolling.
A couple other notes from this past week in Bronco football. Michael Todd brings home the CIAA Offensive Lineman of the Week award. 4 different Broncos actually bringing home a weekly accolade recognized by the conference. You got to feel pretty comfortable with Big Mike Todd on the left side. It seemed like when Bowie did want to bring the blitz, it was mostly coming from that right side, Joe. But when you have a guy like Michael Todd in front of you, how does that just help you as a quarterback rest assured that that blind side is covered for you?
I spend probably half of my day, every day with Mike Todd. That's my guy, my best friend on the team. So yeah, I mean having a guy like Mike Todd, yeah, I feel great protecting my blind side. But Mike Todd's a big leader of the O-line. He keeps getting them guys rolling, keeps them together. Even when we have some breakdowns, protection, some hard times. So yeah, it feels great to have a guy like Mike Todd.
A defensive note that stands out from the Broncos win over Bowie State as well. 1 for 11. Bowie State on third downs this week, Shy, and you guys seem to really be able to buckle down in those moments. What led to some of those that success for you late in those Bowie State sequences?
Well, Coach keep preaching, we're big on third down, really on both sides of the ball, but we're really big on third down, getting off the field. We call it money down. So, that's when everything is, won. The game is won, really. So we just went with the game plan, did what we had to do, and executed everything on third down, first down, second down, and so forth, so on.
All right, so another win in the column for the Broncos. Again, 3-2 in overall play, 2-1 in conference play. That's the same record of the Livingstone Blue Bears as they get ready to host the Broncos here in Week 6 of the schedule. FSU will have a bye week. Everybody can rest up, get healthy after this upcoming game in Salisbury. But Coach Hayes, obviously another big one with a couple of teams that are right there neck and neck in the standings right now. What do you expect going into Blue Bear territory a couple hours down the road this Saturday?
Well, Joe mentioned it a few minutes ago that it's October, and October for us means it's the toughest part of our schedule. You're talking Livingstone, Shaw, Johnson C. Smith, Winston State. Those are all tough games. And if you go back in history, the history since I've been here, every one of those games have been tough games. So we know what we're about to go through. Livingstone is their homecoming, I believe. They're going to be fired up. Everybody, this is the first time, I believe since I've been here, that everybody remaining on our schedule is 500 or better. And so that's going to be key for us to focus in. We know what we have to do in order to get to the CIAA championship. We can't afford to drop another game. So our focus right now is on Livingstone, 1-0 this week, hoping to get to the bye week, get some rest, and try to make a run.
What stands out to you is the biggest thing from the Bowie State game that you want to improve on going into the Livingstone game? I know you have your basics, but
just being able to, like I said earlier, I feel like we get up on teams and then we let up, and I want us to get up and then put our foot on somebody, and that's what I've been waiting to see from this team.
Yeah, the Blue Bears coming off a win over ECSU this past week, 23-17. So they're coming off a victory, hosting the Broncos in Salisbury, and that kick coming up on Saturday at, I believe, 2 o'clock. Is that right? 2 o'clock? All right. So FSUBroncos.com. They will have the live stats for you as well. We won't have a traveling broadcast, but Livingstone feed available, and we'll also have scoring updates for you on Broncos social media platforms. So follow the Broncos on Facebook, X, and Instagram as well for all of the live scoring in that one. Appreciate the guys joining us today on the Pigskin Press Talk. Head coach Richard Hayes, Shai Gaskin, Joe Owens, John Hernandez Vargas. I'm Andrew Chapman saying so long from the Broncos Sports Network. We will talk to you next week. Go Broncos on the road to Salisbury. Talk to you then.